Hello dear tea friends from around the world. Welcome to a new tea class with me, Stéphane Erler. I'm the founder of the Tea Masters blog and the tea-masters.com tea boutique. I have this channel on YouTube to help you prepare the teas that I select. And right now we are doing a class about Dong Ding Oolongs, and we come to the season of summer. Here we are going to taste this tea. I will show you how to taste it, how to study it. For this we use our porcelain Gaiwan, very professional, very neutral, and we are going to compare it to another Dong Ding Oolong from a different season. I will tell you all about it in a few seconds. But before we start, I would like to give you some news about happy tea news about this spring 2025. We have started to receive the very first batch of spring tea. It's a green tea from Sanxia. It's always the earliest tea. Green tea are known for their freshness, and the first batch is always the one with the highest quality because it's picked at the time of the year when it's really still the coldest and when the sunshine is least strong in the year. So the very first batch of Sancha Bilochun is available in my store. It was harvested on March the 10th, this week. So it's super fresh, and this is the best time to purchase your green tea. From experience, really. Green tea is very different from oolong. Oolong, especially those that are rolled, not like baozong, but especially those that are rolled, they can be stored very well for a long period of time thanks to their light oxidation and sometimes a good good drying. However, green teas, this type of tea is not oxidized at all. It is also striped. It takes a lot of space, so it has more contact with air. It is not roasted at all. So this is a type of tea that will lose its freshness after 12 months. So the best time to enjoy green tea is just when it comes out. It's also the best time to buy it because then you are sure that you have the freshest leaves possible. We know there is a big difference between the teas, green teas before Qingming and after Qingming. Qingming is on April the 5th, so make sure that you pass your order before April 5th for the freshest green tea possible, and mine actually is already available now since a few days, harvested on March 10. And now a great oolong, very interesting, from Dong Ding, but this one is quite special because it's from the summer, and so today we want to understand all about it. It has become an oolong in its own. It has even has a new name. Instead of being called Dong Ding Oolong, now it is better known as Concubine Oolong or Guifei Oolong in Chinese. So in order to better understand it, I always recommend that we compare it to another one. Now we had the choice to compare it to the spring, the season just before summer, or fall, the season just after, because fall is not so well known. So I decided to compare it with fall, so summer and fall today. We can start by looking at the leaves, and we notice two things. The leaves from the summer are a bit darker. They are also a bit uneven in terms of color, like the fall. This unevenness of color tells us that this is a very naturally grown plantation. It has the harvest was done also by hand, so it contains leaves that are of different maturities. If you harvest by machine, then you get a very even type of leaves. All leaves are roughly at the same stage of maturity. Here we see the stage of maturity is different. Another thing that we notice in the shape of these dry leaves, both are rolled, like a regular Dong Ding Oolong. So if we would take a spring or winter one, it would have the similar shape. However, the fall one looks a little bit drier. The shape seems more less smooth. It is more rocky in kind of. We can also smell it. Two smells, one short, one long, and you exhale not on the leaves but on the side. So this already gives you some idea of the smells that you're going to find in this tea. Both don't have very fresh smells like a high mountain oolong or even like a spring Dong Ding. Both have smells of heat, warmth. Summer and fall are the two seasons that are the warmest in Taiwan. So this one from summer, I think, was in June. Fall is about September or end of August. So these two are very hot seasons. So actually the fall season is even warmer than the early June time. In early June, we still get a bit cooler nights. In end of August, beginning of September, it's very, very hot in Taiwan during the day and also during the night. So that's a difference. Something else, we used two senses, the sight and the smell, to judge the leaves. We can also a bit touch them, and we can listen to the sound they make when they fall. We'll do the same with we can appreciate the dryness of the leaves and the sound. Now the sound, when it's crisp and resonates, it will tell us that the leaves are well dried. If it doesn't produce so much sound, if it's very damp, then it will indicate that the leaves are a bit humid, have some moisture. Leaves that are very well dried resonate better. So this is the case in both these two teas. So and we find on the touch that fall leaves are a bit rougher. This has to do with season. The leaves lose their freshness faster when it's very hot. So it's a bit normal that the leaves tend to mature a bit faster, and therefore look like this, also a bit more yellowish. Now let's brew our two teas. Competition style, so 3 grams and with a rather strong pour. And a long brew. Now, while we are waiting for the level of the tea to come down and the leaves to open up completely, Let me greet Terry and Elizabeth, who are live with me during this class. Thank you very much for joining me on this Sunday, like usual, I want to say. And what can we say more about Dong Ding Oolong? Well, in the previous class, I've already told that these are always made from Qingxing Oolong leaves. Now, the Guifei Concubine Oolong is a more recent development. It started in the early 2000s. The farmers from Dongding, they wanted to find a better way to make more money during summer, because summer oolongs were not so much in high demand. There was a high demand for summer, not for spring and winter, because then that's when they were able to make the competition. Competition for Dongding Oolong is taking place in spring and winter, but in the summer, the price of oolong from Dongding would come down a lot, and so they finally partnered with farmers from the Hsinchu region who are making Oriental Beauty and whose main harvest happens in summer, not in spring, now a little bit in winter, but really the main harvest season for Oriental Beauty is in the summer, and they wanted to see if it's possible to adapt some of the principles of Oriental Beauty to the Dongding terroir in order to make a more interesting tea, one that will appeal to customers, not only for its story but also for its taste. And after some experimentation, they produced this Guifei Oolong, where they kept, we saw the shape and the procedure of rolling the leaf. However, they introduced a more organic approach to the management of the fields in order to make them pesticide-free, so that the same crickets that we find in Oriental Beauty plantations would also come and nip a little bit at these buds from the Dongding leaves, and thereby produce these honey scents and extra sweet aromas that are typical to jacid-bitten teas. And this worked. So simply by introducing a more pesticide-free approach, they were able to get these insects to come and bite at the leaves and produce better, more interesting aromas. And at the same time, it was also there was also more interest in the market for organic teas, organic oolongs in Taiwan, and therefore this new type of tea was very welcome, and it helped the farmers to get a better price for their summer harvests. Now, this happened in the early 2000s, so it's just 20 years old kind of tea family. It's still quite new. So every farmer is still a little bit experimenting, has his own method of making Guifei Oolong. So there is not yet a very strong standard of how oxidized or how roasted it should be. We find actually, since it's oolong, farmers have more freedom in terms of oxidation level and roasting level. This creates more variety, but it's more difficult to set a standard. Especially there has not yet been a very powerful tea competition for Guifei Oolong that would set where the judges would set a standard, and so that the farmers would all aim to please the judges with the very same aromas. This has not taken place yet, so we can see that there's still a wide range of Greffé Oolong. Now, for instance, this one is quite light in color, especially if we compare it to the fall Dong Ding. So we see this really shows how the temperature is lighter during the summer compared to the fall. Fall is really the max, the peaks heat. We can see it here and smell it also. Now, it comes both because of the oxidation and the roast. I would say both are a bit stronger in the fall season than in the summer season. And of course, the summer is yet stronger than the spring or the winter. But the difference between the summer and the spring and winter is this jacet-bitten aroma that is a little bit honey, honey-like. It's also a bit sour sweet, like candy, I would say. Now let's also try and compare it. A very light color for the summer and a much darker color for the autumn. So in the autumn, we already saw in the previous two classes that the strong heat makes that the leaves mature faster and become a little bit more old, so they lose their freshness faster. They don't have the opportunity to keep their freshness at night because of the high temperatures also at night, and therefore they are a little bit more, they become a little bit more bitter in terms of taste. But when we touch them, I'm still amazed by how soft some of these tea leaves can be. And the leaves from the summer, definitely some are a little bit stronger, also more mature, and a little bit more reddish on the sides. But you see also some very natural and very small leaves, tender buds that help to increase the quality. Now let's taste. Yeah, very, very smooth, very sweet. No fresh feeling, but a sweet, light, honey kind of feeling. Maybe a light sourness that increases the depth of the tea for the Concubine, and compared to the fall is the one that has the strongest aromas and also the strongest taste. But maybe here it's a little bit too strong, a little bit bitter. So this is the most powerful tea where few leaves will be enough already to give you a lot of value in your cup, a lot of taste in your cup. The summer Concubine Oolong here is on the lighter side, as you can see, on these leaves that have opened very well. And even though it does not have the spring freshness, it has an interesting aroma that comes from these bites from the jacids. It's not as apparent as with Oriental Beauty, especially the Imperial grade, but here it's definitely there, especially when you compare it to Dong Ding Oolong from a different season. It does not have this fruity, honey, little sour note and very sweet taste that is special for this Concubine Oolong. And here, beautiful color, a very powerful taste, very interesting. A lot of that's the heat. It's we are feeling the heat in summer. Just drinking some of this tea, and you feel ready to take your clothes off and take a sun bath. It's really the super warm tea. Okay, I think we've done a good comparison between the Concubine Oolong from the summer and the Dong Ding Oolong from the fall. That is not so often encountered. Just a few months separate these two teas, but we can taste a very big difference in terms of weather. The summer actually is more the early summer, early June. It is much more fine, good sweetness, and a touch of honey-like aroma. Here in the fall, much more powerful. Here, more going towards bitter notes, but still very well made, very good transparency. Two very interesting teas that show the variety of the Dong Ding terroir. Thank you very much. Please give me a thumbs up if you found this interesting. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done it, so that you get informed when there is a new class. I will see you next week with another class about Dong Ding Oolong. This time we are going to taste the competition Dong Ding Oolong. Thank you very much. And let me now look at your questions. Elizabeth writes, how do these Dong Ding Concubine Oolongs differ from the ones I know from Sinju? Is it possible to compare? It's a little bit difficult to compare because I wanted to name it the same in Sinju, because here we have Dong Ding trying to maybe not exactly imitate and copy exactly, but to get inspiration from Oriental Beauty. The Concubine from Sinju that is in my selection, or that are in my selection, because I have 2 or 3 now, 2024 and 2020, well, forgot, and also the 2011. These are teas from Sinju that imitate Dong Ding. So in both cases, what makes them similar is that they're all shaped round. They are round, and they are roasted like Dong Ding Oolong would be. But the difference is that in Sinju they use the cultivar that is used, of course, for Oriental Beauty, and in Dong Ding they use still the cultivar used for Dong Ding Oolong most of the time, Qingxing Oolong. So the one in Sinju is the Concubine from Sinju is also called Concubine, but it's not a Qingxing Oolong, but this one imitates Dong Ding with some characteristics from the Sinju area, which is also kind of affected. When you drink it, you will also automatically think about Oriental Beauty, because the same cultivar, the same region, the same plantations will remind you of a bit of Oriental Beauty, but it is shaped like a Dong Ding Oolong, and this one is the opposite. So that's how they have some commonalities, but of course it's more difficult to compare Sinju concubine with Dong Ding concubine. Also, the Sinju concubine is made in spring. This one is made in summer. Terry writes, what is the difference between elevation of Dong Ding mountain and Shanlinshi? Yeah, that's a good question. For a long time, the Dongding was the highest elevation before they started to make tea in Alishan. Actually, Alishan and Meshan, that's where the first high mountain oolong were made. High mountain oolong is above 1,000 meters. In Sanlinshi, we are around 1,300 meters, up to 1,600 meters in Longfengxia, that the highest section of Shalinshi. However, the Dongding region ranges much more between 500 meter and 700 meter in Fenghuang village. So the elevation is not considered high mountain, and it's more similar actually to Ui, also around between 500 and 700 meters. But it is higher than the other tea producing region that is not so far by bird from Dongding, which is Mingjian, Songboling. This is the largest tea production place in Taiwan, and this one is much lower, around 200 to 300 meters in elevation, and it's also in the Nantou region. But over there, because it's a lower elevation, you will find other all kinds of cultivars, not just Qingxing Oolong. Actually, you don't find it so much over there. You will find much more Sujichun and Jinchuan and some other cultivars. Elizabeth says thank you. Terry also, thank you very much for your patience and attending these tea classes. And I wish you a wonderful Sunday and great tea. See you next week. Bye bye.